Hey friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor and I share these videos every Sunday to hopefully give you some new meal ideas and to motivate you to cook more for your family. This week's video is starting off with two meals where we ate out because we were out of town with my husband for work, but then the rest of the video is me cooking at home, and I included 4 dinners that are made in the air fryer and then one that isn't. Some of y'all had asked for more air fryer recipes, so this week I just happened to cook 4 dinners in the air fryer. But as always, any recipes that I mention will be linked down below, so let's go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. Friday night was our last night in Dothan, Alabama, and we were planning on going somewhere else, but with it being a Friday night, everything was packed. We looked at Olive Garden, we looked at like a steakhouse, everything was packed. We were hungry. We went to Waffle House because there was like nobody there, and Waffle House is always a winner for us. So the kids always split the All-Star Special. One day they're gonna need more food than that, but for now they can split it. They get the eggs scrambled with cheese, they get hash browns, toast, a waffle, and yeah. And then I got the Texas chicken melt, I think is what it's called, with no onions, and Andy got the Meat Lovers chicken dinner with cheese covered hash browns. I forgot what it's called at Waffle House, but yeah, Waffle House was our dinner for Friday. It is Saturday night and we are home after being out of town for the last few days, and there's like no food in the house. I cleaned out the fridge before we left and we didn't get home till almost 5 o'clock, so I wasn't going grocery shopping today, so we just ordered our favorite Chinese food. If you've been here for a while, you've seen this before. We just ordered it just a couple weeks ago. Kids eat chicken on a stick, and instead of fried rice this time, we just got some chicken lo mein to share, so they've got some of that. There's more for me. Andy got some house fried rice. We have lots more chicken on the stick. I got 2 orders, and then one comes with my meal, and then they always have a coupon. You get a free one when you spend a certain amount. Got some pork egg rolls, and then these are the little, I don't know what they're called, crunchy things that go in the soup. I got egg drop and Andy got wonton. But that is going to be our dinner for Saturday, and I will be back to cooking in the kitchen tomorrow. It is Sunday night, and tonight for dinner we are doing spaghetti and meatballs, and I am using these frozen meatballs from Sam's Club. We used them once before when I did the like chili and jelly meatballs, and they were pretty good. I mean, they're still frozen meatballs. Nothing is going to beat homemade meatballs, but these were very good in that. So tonight we were going to have them in spaghetti. And when I made them with the grape jelly and chili sauce, I did them in the crock pot. Tonight I am making them in the air fryer. So when I looked it up, it says it takes about 10 minutes to cook frozen meatballs in the air fryer on 380. I'm gonna do mine on 350 because my air fryer does run a little bit hotter. And I'm gonna check them at 5, flip them over probably, and then put them in there until they're done, another 5-ish minutes. I did spray these with a little bit of oil. That's what it recommended to do. So I just sprayed them with some of this, and when I flip them over, I will spray the other side probably as well. We'll see what it looks like. So I'm gonna get those in there. I've got some marinara sauce heating up back here. It's just this one, which is our favorite one from Aldi. And then I am bringing some salted water to a boil over here to cook up some spaghetti noodles. So I ended up cooking these meatballs for about a total of 15 minutes on 350, and as you saw, I did flip them halfway through. I did not spray them when I flipped them over though. They didn't need to be sprayed. You know, they let off like their own grease, so they didn't need to be sprayed. And then after they were done, I just added them to my sauce and let them simmer in that sauce for a couple minutes while my noodles finished cooking. The meatballs turned out great cooked in the air fryer. I will definitely do that again in the future. They were nice and like crispy on the outside, but soft on the inside and full of flavor. These meatballs are really great. If you have a Sam's Club membership, I recommend them. I'm really picky about frozen meatballs, but we definitely really like these. And we just had this with a salad on the side. Monday night, I made some roasted potatoes in the oven, and usually I would do these in the air fryer because I love them in the air fryer, but I was actually cooking the chicken for dinner in the air fryer, so I needed to do the potatoes in the oven. So I just started off by dicing up a couple potatoes. I had a bunch of potatoes I needed to use up, so I was cutting up as many as I could, and it made plenty of leftovers. We actually had potatoes for breakfast the next morning because I love potatoes for breakfast, so I just cooked up as many as I could fit on the sheet pan without overcrowding it. And then I drizzled them with some olive oil, and then for seasonings I used some Trader Joe's onion salt, some garlic powder, some paprika, and some Tony's Creole seasoning. And then I bake these for 25 to 35 minutes on 425 until they get as crispy as I like them, and I usually stir them about halfway through. Now for my chicken, I am making some boneless, skinless chicken thighs in the air fryer. I love to do skin on ones too because the air fryer gets the skin super crispy, but I wanted to try some boneless, skinless ones in there. So I'm started off by seasoning up both sides with some salt, pepper, garlic powder, and paprika, and then I spritz the tops with a little bit of olive oil spray, and then these went in the air fryer on about 350 for about 15 minutes. And then after the 15 minutes, I went in there and I brushed these with some barbecue sauce and let them cook for about another 5. And here is what the finished dinner looked like. We had our barbecue chicken, our roast potatoes, and then I made a can of green beans. And then we had some ketchup and hot sauce on the table to dip our potatoes in. This was delicious. The chicken thighs in the air fryer turned out great. I will definitely do that again. I don't use my air fryer enough, I feel like, for things like that. I use it for quicker, like, convenience meals. And y'all say that you struggle with coming up with ideas of things to cook in your air fryer, but really anything that you cook in your oven, if it'll fit in your air fryer, you can cook it in your air fryer. Your air fryer is just a mini convection oven. You got to cut down the cook time and sometimes turn down the temperature, but the air fryer is great. I love to use it, especially during the summertime when I want to cook something that would usually go in the oven. But it keeps my house from getting as hot as it would by turning on the whole oven, because the little oven on my counter doesn't get as hot or heat up the house as much as the giant oven in my kitchen. I hope these recipes that I'm sharing with y'all will help y'all and give you the confidence to try some new things in your air fryer. Tuesday night, I did some salmon in the air fryer. I'm making lemon pepper salmon the same way I make it, usually in the oven, just doing it in the air fryer. I've made salmon in the air fryer before, but I don't know if I've made it like in a video. I may have just made it for like lunch one day. I cannot remember for sure, so I'm sharing it with y'all today. So I just started off by slicing up a lemon because I'm going to top my salmon slices with some lemon. And then on my air fryer basket, I have laid out some foil because I did not want this salmon to stick to the basket because that would be a pain to clean up. So I just laid some foil down and then laid down my salmon fillets. And then I brushed them with some melted butter. And then I seasoned them with some garlic powder and some lemon pepper. And then I just laid those slices of lemon on top. And then these went in the air fryer on 350 for about 10 minutes. It's going to depend on the thickness of your salmon. Just like with the chicken, it all depends on like how big your piece of meat is. So you want to check it for doneness. But between 8 and 12 minutes is how long you should be cooking your salmon at 350 in the air fryer typically. To go with our salmon, I just cooked up a quick and easy box of long grain wild rice, and then we had some salad on the side. Of course, Lily doesn't like salads, so she just had some fresh veggies and no lettuce. But that was dinner for Tuesday night. Wednesday night, I started off by getting some hash brown casserole in the oven. So this is the copycat Cracker Barrel hash brown casserole recipe. I've been making it for years. My stepdad used to make it when I was younger. It's on Pinterest. It's like all over the internet. I will have it linked down below. So start off with 1 bag of thawed frozen hash browns. They're no longer frozen because I thawed them in the fridge. We add in some sour cream, a can of cream of chicken, some melted butter. You could add in some chopped onion. I know Cracker Barrel does onion. I don't typically do onion because I'm lazy and don't want to cut it up. I used to hate it, but now I like it, but I don't want to cut up onion. So I did use some Trader Joe's onion salt in place of onion this time. Sometimes I do just like onion powder. This time I did the onion salt, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then a lot of cheese. And then this recipe makes a lot. It makes a big like 9 by 13 inch pan, which is just too much for my family. We could eat on it for days and still not eat the entire pan. So what I've been doing the last couple times I make it is I put it in 2 separate things. I got these foil pans from Dollar Tree, and then my little smaller like 8 by 8 square pan, and I fill the 2 pans, and then one of them goes in the freezer for a later date. I just write on top of it, top it with cheese, bake at 375 for 45 minutes, and I thaw it in the fridge overnight. And I forgot to write that this was actually hash brown casserole on here, but I think I will remember. I think I actually did go back and write it on there. So then I will put the rest of that in the 8 by 8 pan and top it with the cheese because I'm going to bake it now. And then I bake it like the directions said on the other one at 375 for about 45 minutes. Now I am preparing a little like brown sugar glaze thing for a ham steak. I'm going to be making a ham steak in the air fryer. Typically I just take a ham steak and fry it in a pan until it's heated through. But I saw this on Pinterest and it looked great, so I decided to give it a try. So in this little dish I've just got 2 tablespoons of melted butter, and to it I am just adding 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And then I take my ham steak and I've got it laid out on my air fryer basket. I'm just going to brush the top with half of that glaze. And I saved the other half of the glaze for halfway through the cook time. We're going to flip it over and glaze the other half. So this goes in the air fryer on 375 for about 6 minutes. Then you flip it over, glaze it, put it back in there for about another 6 minutes. To go with our ham and hash brown casserole, I just made a can of green beans. This ham was delicious. It got like kind of crispy around the edges. It really reminded me of like a whole like spiral ham that I would make on Thanksgiving or Christmas. I loved it, and I don't know if I will ever fry a ham steak in a pan again. And finally, for the last meal of the week, I made goulash. This used to be something that I made all the time, but I honestly can't remember the last time I made it, and for some reason I was just really craving it. So I start off by browning up 1 pound of ground beef. I let it get about halfway cooked through, and then once it's about halfway cooked through, I add in some chopped onion and minced garlic. Once my beef was cooked through, it was time to add in most of the rest of my ingredients. So I will have everything listed out down below for you guys for exact measurements. I don't really measure the stuff anymore because I've made it so many times, but I add in some bay leaves, some adobo, some black pepper, some Italian seasoning, and some seasoned salt. And then I add in about 1.5 cups of beef broth, 1 can of diced tomatoes, and a can of tomato sauce. And then I put that on like a medium low and just let it simmer for about 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes, I give it a good stir, and then I stir in 1 cup of elbow macaroni, and then I put the lid back on, and then this simmers on medium low again for about 15 to 20 minutes until that macaroni is done. When it's done, I go in and I remove those bay leaves, and then I add in some shredded cheddar cheese. I actually didn't have very much shredded cheddar cheese left, so I also added in some sliced cheddar cheese that I broke up. It all tastes the same. It all melts the same. So I just let that cheddar cheese get melted, and then I top it with some mozzarella cheese just before we're about to eat. I had planned to serve this with a salad on the side, but this being the last night of the meal plan, we were running low on fresh veggies and I needed to go shopping the next day. So we didn't really have a lot of stuff for salad. So we just had some classic buttered bread on the side. And that is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. This is about the closest you're going to get to a themed What's for Dinner from me. I know like themed What's for Dinners, like using all the same ingredients or using all of the same like method of cooking are really popular on YouTube, but they're just not something that I'm really interested in doing, because in order to do that, you have to like cook like multiple of the like same kind of recipes like in a row kind of, or like take a month to film it. And I like getting things out to y'all as soon as possible, and I also don't like cooking the same kinds of things all in one week because it's repetitive for me as the cook, and I feel like it's repetitive for y'all. I don't know, but I did enjoy this week cooking in the air fryer. It made things super easy and everything turned out delicious. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video as well. If you did, make sure you leave me a thumbs up, and if you are new here, I hope that you will subscribe down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!